Good morning. Happy Independence Day, 4th of July. So good to have you all here. We have some people who are with us live and a lot of you online, either today or on another day. You might be at the beach or something. So say hi to all the beach people and share the service with them. And we're so grateful that you're here. And today we have Carolyn Gauthier, who is our platform assistant, and she's going to share some news with us. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Reverend Tim. Thanks for mentioning the beach. It's so gorgeous this time of year. I was out there yesterday at Kehoe, way at the end, and it's just gorgeous. Don't we live in, there are hardly any people there. Don't we live in one of the most beautiful places in the world? I feel so blessed to be here, and if you're watching online, I'm sure that you have places of beauty near you too, and there's nothing like being out in nature to feel the presence of Spirit and to breathe in the fresh air and just be grateful for our freedom, for living in this beautiful country, and that we have many choices, that we can share our freedom with others, that freedom that Spirit gives to us and informs us how to live our lives. So if you want to keep in touch with us, you can pull out your cell phone right now. And if you're already in the community, you can just text the word loop. And if you're new, text the word welcome to 415-991-7111. Normally we have a virtual courtyard on Sunday afternoons, but we're giving Reverend Tim the freedom to have an afternoon off today. Yeah, so next week we'll start up again at 4 o'clock. Join that. And we have a few people here today. I know a lot of people are traveling, but if you're here, we're going to invite you to stand up and sing, if you like, our statement of truth.
There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good in all, through all, and over all. There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good in all, through all, and over all. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Wow, it's so good to have live singing, and thank you, Elizabeth Drew, one of the leaders of our prayer chaplain group, is bringing up the prayer box, and the prayer box will be out here in the front lobby area, the narthex. Following the service, you can put prayer requests in that, and we hold those prayer requests confidential and hold those in prayer for 30 days, and then we send it to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. And there's a lot we can be holding in prayer, isn't there? I mean, the people affected by the collapse of this building in Florida and all of those families and people affected by that, people affected by natural disasters and man-made calamities in our world. And recently, a couple of our own have made their transitions. Dodd, it's same as the street. Day, help me out here, in Novato. Rats. DeLong, thank you. So Dodd DeLong just made his transition yesterday. And he was one of our regular attendees. A number of Sundays he would miss because he'd be working at Costco, and he would often, sit right back here about where Heather is sitting, or over on this side where Don is sitting. And he made his transition. It was sudden. So we lift up him and his friends and family. Also, Ken Kosloff, the husband of Deborah Warren, made his transition recently. He recently had played the part of Earl Warren when we did a Brown versus Board of Education drama. So we just lift up all of those affected, and whatever your concerns, whatever your requests, I invite you to take a deep breath if you would like, relax your gaze or close your eyes. And as we take a deep breath, we go to this place of spirit. We go to this place of the presence of God. We know where we are, God is. All of God, fully and completely present. Just breathe into that, feel that. Feel that presence emanating as you, because this is your true nature, the presence of God. As we breathe into that, we experience peace. We experience wholeness and health and abundance. Spirit, we open ourselves to the presence. We open ourselves knowing that this service, the spoken word, the music, all that happens here, all the interactions here are permeated and immersed, infiltrated by the presence of God. For that is what we are, that is what we bring. We lift up those affected by the tragedy in Florida, those experiencing major storms, those who have experienced calamities around the world. And we lift up our country that has been so polarized. We know together unity and standing together. We know together as a country that we are holding this space together for equity, for justice, for peace. We know this together. We bless each person here. We bless all of those concerns that we bring here, knowing we are in the presence and that we breathe and have our being as this presence. And we know this presence permeates this place, right here, right now. For those online, those who are here physically. And in this presence, we know freedom, real freedom, freedom of the Spirit. And for this, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. And you can let us know of your prayer requests. You can call us at 415-475-5000. Press 0. You can leave your prayer request with us. Or you can send it online to Silent Prayer Circle at unityinmarin.org. Or you can connect with one of the prayer chaplains here, or call Silent Unity at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. We know that we experience real freedom in the presence of Spirit. And Carolyn is now going to share with us from the Daily Word about freedom and lead us in our morning meditation.
Today's daily word is freedom. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom. There are many ways to feel free. I may work hard to become financially free. I may plan trips so I can freely explore the world. I may commit to learning for intellectual freedom or exercise my body for greater freedom of movement. Even as I do my work in the world to know freedom, I remember that I am always free at the level of spirit. No situation or circumstance has power over me. Every day and in every area of my life, I live from divine nature where I am wholly and completely free. Through my inner powers of understanding and faith, I recognize and embrace empowering beliefs. My spiritual gifts of strength and release keep me on course and help me free myself from habits that derail my spiritual growth. Through God within, I am grateful to be free. And from Galatians chapter 5, verse 1, for freedom, Christ has set us free. And we take these words of freedom, of knowing our own power, of knowing our own center, into a time of silent meditation. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom.
What do you do when you've done all you can? Seems like you can't make it through. And what do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone, all alone? Tell me, what do you give when you've given your all? Seems like you can't make it through. Well, you just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand, watch the Lord see you through. After you've done all you can, you just stand. Tell me, how do you handle the guilt of your past? Tell me, how do you deal with the shame? And how can you smile when your heart has been broken watch the Lord see you through. After you've done all you can, you just stand and be sure. Be not entangled in that bondage again. You just stand and endure. God has a purpose. Yes, God has a plan. Tell me, what do you do when you've done all you can and it seems like you can't make it through? Child, you just stand. You just stand. Stand. Don't you dare give up. Through the storm, stand. Through the rain, stand. Through the hurt, stand. Through the pain. After you've done what you can. After you've done all you can. After you've done all you can. You just stand.
Jeannie Skybrook and Jason on the piano. Good to have you here. Thank you. It's so good to have you here with us. And, you know, there are some newer people with us, or people who used to come who are back, and we're so grateful that you're here. Thank you for coming, and I've gotten to speak with some of you. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Jules. Jules was part of the congregation that I was serving in Hawaii, and Jules has moved here. Good to have you here. And so if you see someone you haven't met before, please introduce yourself after the service. It's just wonderful to have all of you here. And I want to thank you for all the ways in which you show up in the world. I mean, by your love, by your smile, by however it is that you show up in the world. And one of the ways we show up is by supporting this ministry, which serves to support us. I mean, that's what we're about. We're about service. We're here to support and serve you through education, through programs, through various transformational means to help us to unfold, to be fully what we are, to be that divine presence. And whatever our sexual orientation, whatever our race, whatever our ethnicity or faith background, we are all invited to the party. And so I want to welcome you in that spirit and thank you for supporting this ministry. One of the ways you can support is by texting. You can go to 84321. That's real easy to remember, 84321. And it'll ask you how much you want to donate. It's easy to set up. Or you can go online to our website at unityandmarin.org, where you go to the donate page. You can donate there. You can mail it to Unity and Marin, 600 Palm Drive, Novato, California, 94949. Those of you who are physically present, we have baskets in the front lobby, the narthex. You can put money in the offering there. But there's many ways in which we can give besides money. I mean, just by being who we are. And so in that spirit, we thank you for all the ways you show up in the world, knowing that as we give, so we receive. What we give out, we also are experiencing and believing and realizing in our own lives. So we will now have our offering song that really drills into that truth of reciprocity, and then we'll have some special music that we'll get to sing along with. And so welcome again. It's good to have all of you here.
If you like, would you like to stand? Thanks.
Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love, love gives it back. Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love, love gives it back. Right before Memorial Day, I needed to find a song to sing with the ukulele group I play with on Zoom. And so I asked my mother, my 100-year-old mother, who was a spar with the Coast Guard during World War II. I thought she might have some feelings about a song. And she said, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies," because she wasn't born in this country. And so growing up, we knew that she could never be president of the United States, but we could be. So we got this civics lesson really early. Yeah, I'm not too old to be president. I'm not dead. Anyway, she said, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies," because it made her feel like even though she wasn't born here, she was welcomed here, that all peoples are welcomed here. So I invite you to sing along with me. And if you want to stand, that's okay. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Thank you. Oh, it's neat. Every time I get up here, there's more people. That's so cool. People are showing up. That's so great. Thank you for coming on 4th of July. And what a privilege to have service right on the 4th of July. I'm wearing a tie that I got in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. My best friend, my wife, and I went to Pearl Harbor. And, as you're going out on the boat, you're looking at the water, and I could see the Arizona below, under the water. Could see it. And it really made a visceral impression on me, because I realized, there were people on this boat. And it reminded me of the price that many people have paid for our country. I want to thank all of those who are serving or who have been in the service. Thank you so much for all your efforts, your work, and all of us in many ways have shown up to be of support in various ways in this country, to work for equity, justice, improve conditions on our planet, with the climate, with various things in our country. Thank you for all the ways that you show up. Any of you veterans, raise your hand real quick. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The topic today is breaking free. And you may wonder, well, breaking free of what? I grew up in the United States. I've traveled in lots and lots of countries, and I've gotten to know different ethnicities and different nationalities. Now, I love people from all over the world. And so I know that there's beautiful things about each country. And I grew up in this country being taught that, okay, we're free. And yet I didn't feel free. I mean, yeah, I was free. I can even remember asking in class, and how are we free? They said, well, you have the freedom to say what you want. I said, I can say what I want in this class? He said, well, no. Well, then where's the freedom of speech? Anyway, and you have the freedom to worship in the way that you want, and you have the freedom to do this and to do that. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool, but why don't I feel free? Yeah, have you ever just felt like there was some bondage there, or something that was holding you down? And I keep learning through my life what this is, and some of it is old programming. We were installed with programming, we're like computers. We were installed with programming. Some of us were installed with the program of shame coming into the world. We were taught that what we are somehow isn't good enough, or isn't somehow, like growing up, I was taught by my Sunday school teachers that I was born in sin, that every single thought, word, and deed was based in sin. I thought, wow, I'm like 6 or 7. I'm thinking, it sounds like it's just going to get worse for me. And many of us were taught to not feel good about ourselves, not to feel good about who we are and what we bring to this world. And many of us have these attachments. And what I've found in my life, when I look at the times when I have been most distressed, most depressed, most anxiety-ridden, whatever, it's in those times where typically, first of all, I don't feel aligned with my source. So I would say, first of all, we need to identify, I'm using I words, like the I am, because the I am presence is what we really are. We first identify with this I am presence that is living itself as us. The second big principle in unity teaching is that I am this presence, that we are the expression of this presence. And the fourth big principle in unity principles is that we align with this presence through prayer and meditation. That's why the Fillmores taught so much about meditation. It wasn't just to make us quiet. You know, like I remember in school, we played this game called 7-Up. And I could never understand, what is the purpose of this game? The teacher would tell us, okay, put your head down on your desk, put your arms up here, and lay your heads down on the desk, and stick your thumb up. And when someone comes by and puts it down, then you get up and then you press someone else's thumb down, and they'll get up and do that. But we have to stay silent and quiet throughout this process. And it would last for what seemed to be an eternity. And so I'd be, leaning like this, breathing my own carbon dioxide, smelling, the wood that I'm leaning on. And I'm thinking, what is the purpose of this game? Although I noticed that I was feeling calmer, I was feeling better. I was like, I don't know what the purpose of this game is. It's not that fun, but I do feel calmer. It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized that before we knew the name mindfulness, teachers were teaching mindfulness techniques and getting us to move into the silence, and in the process probably giving themselves a break. We had to put our heads down so we didn't see what the teacher was doing. I would wonder, is the teacher still in here? But the Fillmores taught about going into that silence, because that's where we could identify with this presence. And when we would move into that presence, because our source is the divine. Our source is God. And that presence, that source, is actually self-living as us. Paul says in Acts chapter 17, in God we live, move, and have our being. And in Psalms 139, where can I go from your presence? If I go up into the heavens, you are there. And if I make my bed in the grave, you are there. Everywhere we are, God is. When we identify with this source goes way before programming. This source goes way before shame. This source goes way before anything that is holding us down. Have you ever had problems with your computer? Have you ever had a virus on there? I remember, where was I? I was ministering somewhere else. Glad I wasn't on Zoom at that time. Because what popped up on my screen were things like, oh my goodness, what is this, That would have been real embarrassing on Zoom. And I thought, I got some virus in here, and it was taking up space on my computer, and the computer wasn't working very fast. It just wasn't doing what it was built to do. When we are not fully expressing our divine essence, when we are not fully expressing that dream, that passion that is rising up in us, when we are not fully expressing what we are, we need to defrag, we need to get the old viruses out, and the best way to do that is to focus on our source, is to focus on that divine presence. That's why the Fillmores talked about going into that silence. What Charles Fillmore would have people, this prayer movement that he and his wife Myrtle founded turned into this big organization. With buildings and bills and employees and people who were complaining. I know it's hard to believe in a spiritual community that there could ever be anyone that would complain, but it happens. And what Charles Fillmore would tell people when they would press him for what do we need to do? What is the direction we need to take? He would say, I need to check in with headquarters. Headquarters is that presence of God. He would check in with his supervisor, if you will, that inner presence of God. That's why they taught about the silence. So we need to first identify with our source. Okay, the second I is identity. So first we need to identify, really align with this source. Second of all, we need to know who we really are. Have you ever watched one of those movies or shows where someone has amnesia and they're trying to figure out who they are and they're trying to sort it out? And so I don't know if you've ever seen those Bourne movies, Bourne, Bourne movies with Matt Damon. And he doesn't know who he is. So all he has to rely on, he doesn't have any history. All he has to rely on is his own internal value system, which it turns out is a pretty good guide. And he actually does a lot better doing that than he did before he had amnesia. But a lot of us don't remember who we really are. We come into this world and we think, oh, I'm a human being. Look, I got this body. And we so identify with the body, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we ask ourselves, oh, how am I doing today? Thinking that the body is what we are. Or thinking that the job that we do is what we are. Or that our name is what we are. Or who our family was is what we are. Or the education that we have. But what we really are is eternal spirit. What we really are is eternal spirit soul. The presence of God. Now the first big unity principle, and I keep going over these principles because I just want to really ingrain them in the DNA of our being. The first principle is that there's only one power and one presence, active as our lives and as the universe. So that means that that presence is showing up as us, because what else is there? We are that presence. So you are that eternal presence. You are that eternal spirit soul. You are no small stuff. So when we identify first with that presence of God, that divine essence, and then when we know our true identity, we know that we are not bound, we are not limited, because God is not bound or limited. God doesn't have limitation. God doesn't have anxiety, as far as I know. God has all abundance, all health, all peace, all beauty, all creativity. And if we know that that is what we really are, if we know that is our true nature, if we remember what we are, that we are not these separate beings just living in these, skin suits. We are this eternal spirit soul that was never born and will never die. When we know that, wow, then the whole world opens up. That, limitations. What limitations? Because in that presence of God, there are none. So, we identify with that absolute, that presence of God. We establish our own identity, remembering who and what we really are. And thirdly, we invest. We invest what we really are in service to the world. Have you ever wondered, the second service is always different. So I'm giving you stuff that I didn't give the first service. So, have you ever heard this quote from Jean-Paul Sartre, the French existentialist, philosopher and writer? When someone asked him, what is hell? His response was, other people. Yeah. Some people view other people as a problem. Everything would be fine if everyone was just like me. Have you ever had that fantasy? Have you ever wondered if I was a movie producer, a movie writer, I'd like to write a movie where everybody's me and see how it really works out. There's a reason why there's not just one of us here. We all bring something different to this, and we are all here to serve and support one another, to stand up together with one another. As Unity and Marin, we are here to help us to open up into spiritual awakening, to evolve our consciousness. And we're here to do that by supporting each other. That's how we find real freedom, is by this service to one another. Now, some people have an allergic reaction to the word service because they think, I'm tired. I've had people come to me, they're retiring, they say, I'm retired. I don't want to do anything anymore. I'm, for 6 months, going to do nothing. I'm like, okay. And after that 6 months, let's talk, see how that's going for you. A lot of times what they find is that they're busier than ever because they're filling their lives with all kinds of other things. But do you realize that what you come into this world with is what the world is needing and wanting? You may be waiting for someone else to show up to take care of such and such. You may be waiting for someone else to stand up for social justice and equity for all people. You may be waiting for someone else to give a person a ride to the doctor. You may be waiting for someone else to sing in the choir. You may be waiting for someone else to be a greeter or an usher at the church. You may be waiting for someone else. Why doesn't somebody do something? Guess what? The person you're waiting for is you. If it comes to you, this drove me crazy. The first ministerial position I had in a Unity church was started as associate minister at Unity in Wichita. And the senior minister there, it was like a mantra. You know, if you came to her with some great idea, she'd say, great! If it comes to you, it's yours to do. And so that became a tradition there. You know, I've had people come to me and say, I have great ideas, but I don't want to do it. What is it that you are here to bring? I mean, what is it that excites you? What is it that is life-giving for you? What is it that you really love doing? I mean, that is what we are here to bring. There's reasons why you have those particular interests. There's reasons why you have those particular dreams and proclivities. There's reasons why you come with that. You're here to be what you are. Now, this is really good news. Growing up, I thought I was here to be somebody else. It was taught to me at school. It was taught to me at church. You know, sometimes in family, that what I was wasn't good. What I was wasn't somehow enough. Why can't I be different than what I am? So I thought it was bad to be what I am. Have you ever felt that way? Did you ever feel like you were different from other people? Like you didn't fit in? How many people here, just honest, didn't feel like you fit in? Okay. So I can remember, I have various connections and affiliations. Krishna consciousness, Sufism, and I'm a Benedictine. I'm a Benedictine in the Catholic Church. And the monastery that I'm affiliated with is in northern Missouri. it's a wonderful place, very educated group of monks. And I used to go there regularly on retreats and training and staying there. And what a wonderful, beautiful spiritual atmosphere. And some people have this notion that monks are escaping life, that somehow they're, like someone asked me, why do monks think that it's okay to escape? And I told them, they're not escaping, they're facing. They're facing their lives, they're facing their stuff. Anyway, I was this close to becoming a Benedictine monk. I'm what's called a Benedictine oblate, which is you live the Benedictine principles out in the world rather than being a monk. But I was exploring with the person who would interview and work with people who were considering discerning whether or not to be a monk. He's brilliant. He's a physicist, a mathematician, an astronomer. He's a Benedictine monk. Father Albert. And so Father Albert's talking with me. He's just so down to earth. I don't know what your image of monks is, but these monks, so many of them are just really down to earth and progressive, very intelligent. And he said, Tim, you need to know something. Whatever it is that you are dealing with out there, you will deal with here because you bring it with you. And that's what I've found as the one constant when I've gone to different countries, different cultures. No matter where I went, I noticed there was one constant. And that one constant was wherever I went, I was there. We take it with us. Have you ever tried a geographical cure? Where you think, okay, if I just move, that will solve everything. But then the problems sometimes tend to replicate themselves. It's like, how does that happen? Or you might think, oh, this relationship, and I understand there are situations we need to sometimes make a change, or relationships where we need to make a change. I understand that very well. But some people have told me, no matter what, I've tried this person and this person and this person and this person, and somehow every time the same problem comes up. It's amazing how that many people can have the same problem. Who is the common denominator they're forgetting about? Themselves. They're bringing their stuff with them wherever they go. So it's important for us to really identify with this absolute, this source, know what our true identity is, so that we can then really live in and serve in this place of being this divine presence and do the work we need to do. Unity, how do I want to put this? It's the best and worst. The best is it's really a pathway of transformation. The worst is it tells you that you're responsible for your own transformation. That we're responsible for our own lives. Oh, geez, really? I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my upbringing. I can't blame. It's up to me. But isn't there really good news in that? That we have the power to change and shift our lives. We have the freedom to choose to be free. We have the freedom to choose to be free. Or we can keep playing the game of being in the old program, the old bondage. So, identify with that absolute. knowing that's our true source, knowing that your true identity is this presence of God, that you are this, and that you are investing your time, your skills, your passions, your dreams into service in this world. I'm a minister through and through. I know that. You can throw me in some other weird situation and I'm still going to be a minister. I mean, it's just what I am. And I've learned that through experience. There was a time, I did this residency, this intensive training to be a professional hospital chaplain, and then waited 9 months. I was applying all over the country. And in that time, I needed to support myself and family, so I got a job working as a salesperson for Dillard's, selling men's clothes. And found out I was pretty good at it. But it wasn't because I was trying to be good at it. I was good at it because I really loved people and was interested in people. Then interested in finding out what is it that you need. And then I like color and I like working with color. And, so I started building up clientele. Then I was being told, oh, you should have your own store. And I was thinking, well, that isn't really my dream. But what I noticed working as a salesperson in Dillard's was I was ministering to people. I was finding out what's going on in their lives. I was listening. I was being a spiritual presence with them. Oh my goodness. Holidays or some of those busy days where there's just long lines and some of the people feel like what they need to do is to unload their anger and anxiety upon the person at the cash register. I got to be the person who could contain that and hold a space of peace and work with them and try to find out who they really are. I minister wherever I'm at. I found that out. So find out what you do, no matter where you're at, what it is you bring, and celebrate it. How many of you here feel good about celebrating you? Would you raise your hand? Great, 2 hands on. All right. No, I mean, there were several hands, but one person who held up both hands. Like roller coaster. Whee! Celebrate what you are, who you are. Reverend Deanne Ware-Mornsey, who is now associate minister here, as well as associate minister at Unity San Francisco, last Sunday, and you can look it up on the Unity San Francisco website, gave this excellent message for Pride Weekend about how important it is for us to be who we really are, to be what we really are, that's what we need. And when someone does that, it encourages others to oh, I can be who I am. That's what we're here to be. We're here to support each other, to stand together, to work together, to really unfold this divine living as us. Isn't that exciting? Are you excited? I don't know. Some of you are like, I'm not so sure. And sometimes people don't, they want to be comfortable doing the same thing they've done, and I don't want to remember who I am, and I just want to get through this life and go on. But if you're interested in transformation, if you're interested in living the best chapter of your life, if you're interested in really just being effusive with this presence of God living as you, then this place is for you. And the teachings that we offer are for you. This is your opportunity to break free and really find freedom, true freedom within. I invite you to repeat after me. Where I am, God is. What I am, God is. What I do and speak, God is. I'm happy. I'm free. I'm free indeed. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Need of roadie. Well, you know I wouldn't come without my ukulele.
Your red one. Yes.
I brought the red one special for today. There you go. You know, it's interesting how you talked about, you know, how it wasn't your parents and all this, that you are responsible for yourself. When I was younger, you know, it was all my parents' fault. And the older I got, the less fault there was and the fewer things they did wrong. And we thought my mom was going to pass this week, and I had a chance to talk to her on the phone. They put it on speaker and put it by her. And she responded to me, too. She had stopped eating. And all I could think about was all the wonderful things she did, all the wonderful ways that she was a mom, and what a great role model she was as a woman, especially with the changes in her life. And she was a great role model for us daughters. And I thought, life has changed a lot. Anyway, the next day she started eating again, so she's still with us. Yeah, she's in Colorado. So this next song, the lyrics were written by my friend Mark Siegelman, with whom I do all my ukulele things. And he wrote it after the 2016 election when our country was in such upheaval. Later, he added the third verse. And we thank Leonard Cohen for the music. It's been a very stressful time. It's hard to find any reason or rhyme. Civility is hanging by a tether. But if we're going to get things done, we need the help of everyone. We're always stronger when we stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. We may diverge politically, but we can all at least agree that bigotry and hate don't make things better. The strength of our democracy is our immense diversity. That's why we're stronger when we stand together. Sing it with me. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Here in the United States, there is no room for racist hate. Our rights must be protected to the letter. When racist hate propels attacks, we all must rally to fight back. We won't be strong unless we stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. Stand together. We may have come from different lands, but we are all Americans. It hurts us all when people tar and feather. We have a mission to fulfill, one nation indivisible, because we're stronger when we stand together. 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 Stand together.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. I just have a quick, funny story I want to share with you. When we were singing America the Beautiful, I used to teach elementary school, and at that time we were required to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And then I would usually follow it up with a song just to kind of lighten it up. And we would sing America the Beautiful quite a bit. And one day I sang, America, America, God shed her grace on thee. Right? And one of the students said, why did you say her instead of his, God shed his grace? And I said, well, you know, the church I go to, we believe that God is male and, you know, men and women, or male and female, that we don't know if God is man or woman. And I got a phone call from some parents that were not happy about that situation, but I think I planted a seed in that little guy, and maybe he'll end up at Unity one of these days. Anyway, there are a few things I just want to remind you about. We are here live every Sunday, both services, 9:30 and 11:15, with live music. We are going to be still having a few recorded singers, like next week is going to be Nicola Prince, who is the wonderful opera singer who did a great job a few months ago, and that'll be pre-recorded, and the music the week after that is also going to be pre-recorded. Should I mention about the Metaphysical Music Month, or Movie Month? Yeah, so July has typically been Metaphysical Movie Month, and Reverend Tim is going to be doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy, maybe in 2 parts. Definitely next week you're doing that. And then the third week, which is July 18th, our brand new associate minister, Reverend Deanne, is going to be doing metaphysical interpretation of West Side Story. So we'll have some recorded music for that as well. And that should be a lot of fun, a lot of good songs in that, but she'll be here live, right? Okay, got that straight. So please join us. If you're watching from home and you're in the area, we'd love to see you back here live and in person for the services. Also wanted to let you know about our Social Action Committee is forming a new collaborative group with a number of social justice organizations. One of them is Marin City Arts and Culture, and this photo up here with Ricardo Moncrief, who has been a member of this community for quite a while. His organization, isoji.net, and Dr. Cindy Acker also has a foundation, Shining Star Productions, and Novato TV, all collaborating to do some programs. One of them is this afternoon at 3:30, and it'll also be rebroadcast next week. It has interviews with Reverend Tim in it, a lot of great music. He plays jazz, and the website you see, our website, unityandmarin.org/events. You can go there, learn more about it, watch it if you like, or even just to support their efforts. You can donate from that page because this event is a fundraiser for this new wonderful Art is Health organization. Okay, yeah, it's going to be on Novato TV, channel 26, on your cable. Sue Summer, who is our writer-in-residence, is offering a new round of her class. It's ongoing, but if you have a secret writer inside of you, or if you're already a prolific writer, join her group. It's 10:30 to 12:30 on Tuesdays. And the sneak peek, they're going to be doing a production where they actually read some of their work. And that'll be coming up pretty soon, and that jazz band will still be playing. Every Wednesday evening, Cindy Acker leads Getting Real with Race to take a closer look at our belief systems. I want to thank Yvette Connor for being our service sponsor. She is celebrating her birthday, but she is dedicating this in celebration of Independence Day and all of those who have birthdays in July. If you would like to sponsor, please call the office. The beautiful flower arrangement this week was by Sarah Gaspari. We'd love to have your support in whatever way you can do that. Would the Unity and Marin prayer chaplains who are here today please stand? Very nice to see you all in your stoles. We've got 5 of them here today. So if you're present and would like to have prayer with one of them live, it's a wonderful experience. Everything is held in confidence, and you'll leave here feeling better. And for those of you online, you know how to get in touch with us. And now if you'll all stand, and those of you at home, we're going to say our prayer for protection and then sing the peace song together. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God upholds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And if you'd like, you can take the hand of the person next to you and use sanitizer on your way out. Have a great 4th of July.